man Easy, inviting you to tune in. It's all about everything agriculture with the man Bankie and Company alongside Yahsonn Bankie. It's your weekly educational show. And tune in. It's inspirational, educational, and you won't want to miss it. It's everything agriculture. Hey, this man Easy, inviting you to tune in. It's all about everything agriculture with the man Bankie and Company alongside Yahsonn Bankie. It's your weekly educational show. And tune in. It's inspirational, educational, and you won't want to miss it. It's everything agriculture. Hey, this man Easy, inviting you to tune in. It's all about everything agriculture with the man Bankie and Company alongside Yahsonn Bankie. It's your weekly educational show. And tune in. It's inspirational, educational, and you won't want to miss it. It's everything agriculture. Hey, this man Easy, inviting you to tune in. It's all about everything agriculture with the man Bankie and Company alongside Yahsonn Bankie. It's your weekly educational show. And tune in. It's inspirational, educational, and you won't want to miss it. It's everything agriculture. Hey, this man Easy, inviting you to tune in. It's all about everything agriculture with the man Bankie and Company alongside Yahsonn Bankie. It's your weekly educational show. And tune in. It's inspirational, educational, and you won't want to miss it. It's everything agriculture. Hey, this man Easy, inviting you to tune in. It's all about everything agriculture with the man Bankie and Company alongside Yahsonn Bankie. It's your weekly educational show. And tune in. It's inspirational, educational, and you won't want to miss it. It's everything agriculture. Hey, this man Easy, inviting you to tune in. It's all about everything agriculture with the man Bankie and Company alongside Yahsonn Bankie. It's your weekly educational show. And tune in. It's inspirational, educational, and you won't want to miss it. It's everything agriculture. Hey, this man Easy, inviting you to tune in. It's all about everything agriculture with the man Bankie and Company alongside Bankie. It's your week.
The BVI, not forgetting the folks in the diaspora, North America, from the Florida Keys all the way up to Maine, Alaska, wherever you're at, and the folks over in Europe, different time zones. So definitely we appreciate you guys. It's late in the evening, sometime early in the morning, and the folks over in Asia, Africa, and some of our students in Indonesia, and wherever you're at, greatly appreciate you guys tuning into Real Entertainment this evening. We have some beautiful guests here from different parts of the Caribbean, but a part of the same corporation, which is Mercy Corps. We're going to be reading about food security and some different projects they're here working on Navis, and want to big up Hazel Brandy Williams for linking me with these two beautiful people and to get through the projects and different stuff they're working on here in Navis, which will contribute to food security, which is very important as you see what's going on around the world, wow, and different stuff. And food is something that we really need, and plus do it in a holistic way where we can appreciate less pesticides, less clean up the soil. So we'll get into a lot of conversation, and it's the last Friday of the month, so it is appropriate that we get into a food security talk and stuff like that. So let's say good evening to our guests, Aimée and Cesar. Yahsonn, how you doing?
The global greetings, everybody, and it's a pleasure to be here on another Friday evening with another edition of Everything Agriculture, where we dive deep into agricultural issues shaping cities and needs of the wider Caribbean, the globe on a whole. I am here with Yahsonn Bankie King, my co-host, and we have two beautiful guests, as you would have mentioned earlier on. We'll be tackling the topics that hits home for every family on this island: food security and food sovereignty. In a world of rising prices, climate shocks, and global security chains that can snap like a dry branch, why are we still shipping 80 to 90% of our food? Who really control what ends up on our plates? MCN AIDS group like Mercy Corps or us? Our special guest tonight bring, fire to this conversation. Cesar Ramirez, a leader in community agriculture and sustainable agriculture farm initiative, across the regions, and Aimée advocate for climate resilient crops and local food systems. We're going to have 2 hour, commercial free. So buckle up as we ask, if you don't grow your own food, do you really control your future? Let's go our way to sovereignty starting now. And we want to encourage you to, at this time, go on over to our YouTube platform, subscribe, click on the notification bell so that, whenever we have a program, you're definitely always informed. Cesar Ramirez is a Caribbean-based agricultural innovator and community organizer with over 15 years promoting sustainable farming and food security projects. We work with regional NGOs on agroecology initiatives, including community gardens in the Eastern Caribbean, and advises on integrating local crops into resilient supply chains. His focus, empowering small farmers to break free from import dependency. And Aimée Griles-Cariño is a food sovereignty advocate and expert in climate resilient agriculture with roots in Caribbean community development. He's collaborated with organizations like Mercy Corps on garden programs and crop diversification efforts, championing drought tolerant varieties like moringa, cassava, and sea grapes. Our work emphasizes grassroots solutions for island nations facing hurricanes and flood and food inflation. And with that, I would want to take the opportunity to invite our guests to, one, add or correct anything that we would have um, provided in our brief intro, and also say good evening to our guests and begin to share a little bit of their story. So we will from here give the lady the opportunity to start first, and then we would allow Caesar. So, Aimée, we're going to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself to the platform, to our listeners, and share a little bit of your story and your role in the poor, and a little bit of what you plan to do, and then we would allow Caesar to do the same. And then we would get into, a bit more of the questions and give you more opportunities to flesh out a little bit more of what you plan to share with us this evening. So, Aimée, welcome to Everything Agriculture, and the floor is yours.
Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you so much for having me on. And I want to give a shout out to Miss Hazel for organizing our conversation tonight. My name is Aimée Griles-Cariño. I am from St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands. I am the Community Resilience Officer for the Mercy Corps Caribbean Resilience Initiative. So basically, I serve as a project manager and liaison between our CRI program and the local communities that we serve. My background is in communications and nonprofit management for about 15 years. I have a deep love of Caribbean history, especially Virgin Islands history. Call myself an amateur historian, an avid reader, and supporter of local food culture in the U.S. Virgin Islands, and that kind of stretches out to beyond in the Caribbean because we're separated by water, but technically the water also connects us as well. So I'm happy to be here. So thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you. And Cesar, we're going to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself quickly and then tell us a little bit more of yourself and your role in the organization and also where you're from. Because I think I understand Aimée is based in St. Croix and you're based somewhere else. So you'll give us that bit of information in your intro as well.
Thank you, Yahsonn. Good evening, Johnson. Good evening, Bankie, and all of the audience. Thank you for the opportunity. It's really nice to be here, sharing our ideas and also our projects. Because as Aimée say, we are all in the Caribbean, so we face all the same situations. So I'm Cesar Ramirez. I'm based in Puerto Rico. I'm the agriculture project manager for Mercy Corp Caribbean Resilience Initiative. My role right now is working with communities, trying to not trying promoting the community gardens as a tool and a response to the food security that we need in the Caribbean. So we focus on promoting res- resilience practice, agriculture practice that are sustainable, that promote like the good agriculture practices in the Caribbean and prepare the community not only to produce food, also like incorporate the food and the gardening in his daily days. So we promote like the agriculture as a good way to combat food insecurity in the Caribbean. So we work also with farmers and small farmers in Puerto Rico, like in the right after Hurricane Maria. So I got some experience working with communities. Uh, Fisher folks, beekeepers, and small farmers. So yeah, that's basically where we are.
Nice. Thank you for that. And so we have St. Croix and we have Puerto Rico inside the house, and we are going to be talking agriculture, food security, food sovereignty, and learning a bit of some of the practices that we can make use of in the Caribbean that can bring us to that point where we are secured in terms of food and are eating healthier, because a healthier nation is a wealthier nation as well, and a more productive nation as well. So it's a timely topic, and I think here on St. Kitts and Nevis, I don't know exactly what's the situation in Puerto Rico and why, but at this point, we depend heavily on imports here on St. Kitts and Nevis, and so I am hopeful that the projects that you guys are going to be working on will be aligned with that sort of um, quest. I don't know if you're familiar with the project that the Caribbean would have embarked on, or at least CARICOM would have embarked on a couple of years ago, where they were thinking of at least reducing the food import bill by 25%. So they had a 25 by 25 agenda, where they were seeking to reduce the food import bill, which is actually about roughly between 150 to 200 million dollars annually. So they were trying to at least reduce that by 25%. Uh, so any project that would start to seek to reduce our dependency on imports, I think would be very good and be helpful to encourage people to get into backyard gardening and different methods of, making use of some of the indigenous crops that they have around them. Are things that we would want to discuss. Now, talking about indigenous crops, What's one food you grew up eating in the Caribbean that you can't find reliably today? And why does that matter for our, food community? Amy can answer and Caesar may answer, and then we can get into a little bit of what your product is. One food that maybe you guys were accustomed to growing up that you find it a little bit of a challenge to find at this point.
I won't say that one. I won't say the food I'm gonna mention is hard to find. I will say that the community's palate has changed. I feel growing up, a lot of times when you went to a lot of like big formal functions, you always had kingfish. It was something that was always presenting kingfish like a Creole sauce, and now it's salmon. So for me, my observation is now you see more outside, not local fish. There's still some mahi, but it's usually frozen, not local. But I see that as an observation. I see more that we've shied away from kingfish and we moved to salmon as our main fish dish a lot. A lot of formal functions and every day if you buy food at like a local restaurant, I feel like they're salmon forward versus fish, um, kingfish or like pot fish forward.
Yeah. What about you, Caesar? Anything that you could think of?
Uh, I I I really think about like the roots and tours. Talking with my experience in Puerto Rico, I think that roots and tours in our island are getting really low, and it's really a good source of carbohydrates that we substitute with flowers, different flowers that are imports, and it's really hard to find some good like root stewards that are growing the island, and it's really a good opportunity that we have there because we can grow a lot of dachshund, sweet potatoes, different roots that are really good plants to be harvested in the Caribbean, and it's also like a good resource of carbohydrates that could help us in a daily diet. So I think we have opportunity there also.
Okay. And it's good. It's good listening to some of the issues and challenges that are being faced by other Caribbean islands as well. Because even though we may be discussing different products, so to speak, I could see the similarities here, where there's some things that we traditionally would have made use of, and in the case of Amy, where she said it's not necessarily that you might not find it, but as you said, the palette might change because we have been maybe influenced to some extent by Western media and the things that they promote, so to speak. Um, but I just kind of brought that in as a kind of icebreaker to some extent to begin the conversation, and we can channel off from there. So what I would want is to give at least Amy the opportunity, and or Caesar also, to tell us a little bit more about Mercy Core. Um, you know, where
Okay,
is it started from, and a little bit of that. Yes.
I can do that. Cesar, do you want me to do that?
Yes, definitely.
So, I was gonna say yes. So, Mercy Corps is a global humanitarian organization that has been around for more than 30 years, and we're currently in over 30 countries around the world. We partner with those who are most vulnerable to develop local solutions in regards to resilience. Here in the Caribbean region, we are initiating a project called the Prime Project, which stands for Preparedness, Resilience, and Impact for Those Who Are Most Excluded, where we work with local partners across 4 jurisdictions, Jamaica, St. Croix, Nevis, and St. Lucia, to adapt our resilience hub model to align with local needs, concerns, and capacity of each community. I think you already mentioned that a lot of times being part of the Caribbean, being part of colonized places that our foodways and our ways in general are often, influenced by outside sources because they're importing the food. So if salmon is cheaper for them to import than us sharing kingfish, that's what happens. So our palate, we're forced to change, basically, right? Um, so our program here, like I mentioned, we're implementing the Prime project and we're building resilience hubs in those 4 jurisdictions that I mentioned, which are St. Croix, Nevis, Jamaica, and St. Lucia. Each hub is equipped with clean water, food, and emergency communications technology, and they're completely off the grid and solarized to keep devices charged in the wake of a disaster, and also to keep medications refrigerated when it's a critical emergency time. Uh, Once again, being in the Caribbean, we know we face a specific set of disasters, and when that happens, we're usually the last to get support. So we have to support ourselves and prepare ourselves because sometimes help doesn't come at all, or sometimes help takes a long time to come. So that's really the basis of our program. We're here to support the local communities, 4 jurisdictions for this project right now to be more resilient.
Well, I am listening with keen ears, and I'm sure that the folks on Nevis are also listening with keen ears, because in the 4 countries that you mentioned, Nevis happens to be one of them. And I'm sure that the folks would be very much interested in finding out a little bit more about that project that you're about to embark on, or maybe already embarked on in Nevis. So please, if you can, give us as much information as possible on what you're seeking to do or have been doing on the Nevis.
Okay, so I could talk more about it. So basically, our Resilience Hub is a trusted community space that can support people in multiple ways. During normal times, it serves as a place for training, agriculture activities, or community meetings or trainings. But during emergencies, it can help coordinate disaster response and provide information and connect residents to resources. In Nevis, our project is actually underway. We are supporting the development of a hub in the Hickmans community in Gingerland Parish. The project is designed with the community in mind. The goal is to create a space that supports agriculture and community engagement and disaster preparedness, while also strengthening local networks that help community respond across emergencies. Here in Nevis, our partners are Nevis Disaster Management Department and OECS, as well as local stakeholders from the Hickmans community as well.
Nice, quite interesting. And how long has this project started, or have you embarked on this project?
The project has, well, the planning phases and the have been underway for a while. We'll be breaking ground on the site before the end of the year, and the project
Okay.
is slated to last till 2027. If I'm correct, these are
Yeah.
20.
Okay, great. Um, so I love the concept, and I love also the fact that you highlighted that you're seeking to, well, I guess I'm going to paraphrase it in my own words, put it as a sort of off-grid project to some extent, because you spoke about solar, having solar energy and things like that. So you're going to
And a
be seeking as
community
much,
garden.
right? So you're seeking as much as possible to be as sustainable as possible, self-sustainable, that is.
Yes.
Right. And this is what is going to happen in Navy is similarly going to be replicated in the other 3 territories that you spoke of. That's basically it.
Yes. Yes, we have 3 other sites in St. Croix. Our site is where our local partner is St. Croix Foundation. So the Sunday Market Square area in the historic town of Christiansted is where we're partnering with them to develop. Um, in Jamaica, it's in the Bull Bay community, and in St. Lucia's in Micoud, North Micoud, if I'm not mistaken.
So is this some new projects that you're embarking on, or are there any that is so to speak, maybe like fully activated and fully operational, so to speak, or all of them are in maybe this negotiation stage or building?
We are moving into the building phase in the next couple months, but we do have resilience hubs that are currently active in Puerto Rico.
Okay.
So this is like an extension of that model that we're extending out to other Caribbean islands.
And I like the fact that it's not necessarily limited to only US-based Caribbean territories, because Jamaica and Nevis is also sort of British-based territory. So that is pretty wonderful, I think, because sometimes in a lot of cases, I find where sometimes opportunities, whether it's for grants or funding and projects, are sometimes maybe limited to US-based territories, and so it's great that this is an initiative that seeks to embrace British-speaking territories at least at this point. So that's wonderful. Banky, anything that you would want to add or ask as we continue?
Yeah, definitely, Yahsonn. I mean, I love the sound of the project. I mean, but the first thing I want to, well, how did the selection come? How did Navis come? How did you all get to select Navis? I mean, who was behind that? How the initiative started and stuff like that, and how everything is going to take at least between 2027. So after everything is in place, how the management system going to put in place? What is the structure for stuff like that? But first, as I said, how was Navy selected and the site selected? How that was chosen?
Okay, so we came on after the sites were selected. However, there was there was a group that came and had conversations with local organizations and government organizations to collect data, and then site selection was made that way. And then, like I said, it's really based on communities that often, the whole point of the Prime Project is to serve communities that are often most excluded from supports
Yes,
and resources. So once they did their, I want to say recon, but research, then they made a
yes,
decision on the islands who would most benefit from those services. And you have to think too. A lot of times in the Caribbean, we have a big Asian population, and we have like a gap. We have a big Asian population and a big population of younger children, young adults, and disabled. And I think that played in to the selection as well.
You see, the reason why I asked that question because Hitman's community center is one that community center have been neglected over the years. I tend to drive today and it bring back a lot of memories because coming up into Easter time, I would tend to May with area, it tend to have a lot of activity, community activity at that particular place, as we realize cricket and different and stuff with football and music, all kind of stuff. A fun day, kite flying, but for more
Hmm.
than 20 plus years, it's just been neglected. So I'm very happy that that area reviving that community area back and making it fruitful and stuff like that. So kudos to that to the people within Hitmans. I mean, I definitely. I also living in the town area and the other side of the country, but definitely looking forward for that project. I will keep an eye and looking at that at the same time. So, but in Nevis, monkey is an issue. So, is all that issue is in place. So, what do you know about the monkey problem in Nevis? Anyone of you want to talk about that?
I'm going to leave that to Cesar.
Okay, Caesar,
But
let's go. Let's talk about monkeys.
every person we've talked to, um, this is our second trip here. Everybody's like the monkeys. It's like it's a war against the divisions and the monkeys. So we understand, and we're working on so
Okay,
like a monkey-proof solution. So I'm gonna let Cesar speak more
beautiful.
to that.
All
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
cool.
So it's my turn. So definitely I will start like I want to describe first like our agricultural approach and how we address the community, and then I move to the
Yes.
monkeys question. uh when we don't have as our prey, we don't have like already build a garden for each community or for each community center. Really, all our gardens are completely different. Are constructed based on what the community needs and what the community want to make with the space. So uh, when you see all the resilient hubs that we have, all the gardens are completely different, and maybe some of the gardens have some different objectives, all like based on the same principle of food security and community garden. But for example, right now in Jamaica, the when we all of the designs start with a community focus group. Is when we start like engaging community to see what how they see the garden, what they want to use, and according to those first meeting, we start moving forward to the design discussion. Every design and every idea of the garden is in discussion. We are like a guide for the community, and also we consult the community, but at the end it's really what the community wants to do with the project. In Jamaica, for example, the garden will have a small component of seedlings productions, because the community involved identified that maybe it's difficult to find some seedlings, and some farmers around have some difficulties like uh, having good quality seedlings. So, in order to uh, promote the sustainability also of the resilient host, they want to have as more like business type of or income generation selling seedlings, and the design have that component. So that's really important, and also in that communications, in that discussion with the community, also one of the our main question is what challenge you see on the gardens, and working the garden on these sites, because as you know, we are not from the island. We really we know for agriculture, but not necessarily all the internal aspect of agriculture here. So we listen. Our first voice is the community, so we listen what they need to say, and design about that. So that's what we see now, like the monkey problem. That was, I think, that was the main concern that we hear in the focus group, and it's really a challenging. We are working. We have been doing some research, some ideas. At the moment, we don't have any like a unique solution. We're gonna be doing like the garden will incorporate different solution that we hear, and hope that works. We're gonna be the first thing that everyone is encouraging us to do is build a greenhouse and enclose the greenhouse and then like make another fence to protect. So we are thinking, of course, the greenhouse will be enclosed. We are thinking about using some electric fence, but we are still doing evaluating the safety concern, because it will be a community center. So small children will be there, kids, families. So we have to be also like we need to focus also on the safety concern of the daily use of the space. But definitely we are looking any suggestion that you have, and also the audience that could help us is more than welcome.
Well, the electrical fence is family friendly. It's used at most property when once I'm doing farming in the garden around my house, many other homes and stuff. 'Cause it's 14 volts and will be on the top of the fence, so children and adults, unless you jump up to touch it, can go above the fence, so it's not going to be low in reach. So it will be it's something that is safe and very efficient, but it's maintenance like anything else. To keep off like running trush like bush, like the bush we call one of those that run wild, and other vines are, and make sure the area when the perimeter is clean. But once that, it will work pretty much good with the maintenance. But at the same time, it's monitoring. Once one is around within the community, they can monitor also for monkeys. But if the whole property is fenced, if that's a part of the project, that and the electrical fence and the perimeter, that will goes a long way. and definitely and have a greenhouse. I see the project being successful once the consistency is there within the community and everything is managed well, and everything can. Well, storage too, cause a greenhouse will produce a lot of food, so definitely we need storage when and then a system where the food is distributed. Some of the food that is grown there can be sold, so money is income is coming in to work within the community and make everything sustainable, buying more seeds and especially harvesting water, cause there's a building there. If water can be harvested, and so I see it's a beautiful project. A lot can be added to it, so it's a lot, it's a large space, so definitely looking forward to that. So kudos to the people of Hickmans and also the people of Nevis, because you're going to benefit everyone on the island of Nevis and extend also over to St. Kitts. So hopefully with that project, the activities can come back up where they used to have all those fun games, and the whole of Nevis and St. Kitts tend to enjoy back that space. Because for me, I miss being there. You have a beautiful view of the seawater and nice breezy place, a view of the mountains. So beautiful place. Bring back some life into Hickman. So I'm happy, and so just want to big up all those who are a part of this project, and Hazel linking you guys with Real Entertainment Network with me and giving this information out to other part of the people in the island and in the region and those listening who don't know about this project. It's a beautiful thing. So to any one of you, why is food security is important within the community?
Why is food in our community? Because like I mentioned,
Yes.
well, to me personally, as I mentioned before, a lot of times
Yes.
what we eat, what we consume is dictated by what comes into our communities, right? Via the grocery store, because we're only producing X amount of things. A lot, even though we're producing in St. Croix, we have a very big agriculture base. Even though we're producing a lot, we're not producing everything we need. So we're importing a lot of stuff, right? So that has changed our diet. That has changed um, the way the way we the way we are. But the food security is important because we can help ourselves. The thing for me, especially after disaster or anything that happens, the pandemic, hurricane, um, what's the worry? Or how are we gonna get food? Because everything is coming in. So how are we gonna be able to sustain ourselves? Because shelter and food are one of the two most important things, right? After a storm or after disaster. So food security is important because we have to help ourselves first. Because if we keep relying on outside sources, that in the current climate we're in, that could dry up. So and what's gonna happen then, right? So if we feed ourselves and our community, we will be able to continue on. So it's important that way we don't have that. That's a worry that we eliminate. I heard we were at Agri Expo today and yesterday, and I heard someone mentioning. I think there were different speakers on the main stage, and someone mentioned like if we can't grow our own food, how are we supposed to sustain ourselves and be you know support sustain ourselves as a community and our family and our community on a whole. And it made me think. I was in line trying to get something to drink, and I was like, wow, yeah, that's true. Like how can we be independent of ourselves, right? And not have that worry. So that's why it's important to me.
Beautiful. Caesar, anything you want to add to that?
Uh, I think Amy covers a lot. I will add that for me, like I think that also like the food security also give communities and give countries like a power about decision making, because when we don't when we have dependence of food from other countries, other countries, we in sometimes we don't have we can control all the variables in our daily lives. So I think that the approach that if we can secure that our people can get nutritional food, good quality food, give us like more opportunity to still growing up and be like better countries each day, because we don't depend on others. We can be completely independent, and I think that gives some powers to the people.
Nice. Amy earlier mentioned resilience crop. As a farmer myself, if it's one thing, and being growing up, and when my uncle who passed transition 3 years ago, he always say once if you're gonna planting food as a farmer, you must be planting cassava and you must be planting banana, where there's different varieties from to food security. These are the crops you can use, and bread along with breadfruit and other those type of tree crops where you can process into flour, where you can for baking, for cooking, for bread and all these different stuff. So my farm always have a cassava patch. So I can always harvest cassava every day. In a sense of keep repeating planting cassava, and then I have hundreds and I guess by now thousands, over 4 acres of banana trees and different plantings, and a lot of tania and root tuber from also from St. Croix. Some look like tania, but it's not a tania. Somehow we get a bigger root. I'm not sure what you call it down there, but we tend to have some people tend to go to St. Croix and be a part of the agriculture field on this. So sometimes they'll get some of the cultured crops and so forth, the root tuber to come back. So I tend to have a lot of those things. So you mentioned that. So why did you mention those resilient crops?
Because we responded to Hurricane Melissa, and we had some of our colleagues were on the ground supporting local organizations, and the thing that was left behind was like Cesar said, the cassava, the tubers, the ground food was what sustained. And think about it, that's all that was left. So that's why we mentioned that it's a resilient crop and that everyone should have one. Also, we talk a lot about breadfruit in St. Croix. That one breadfruit tree can feed a family of 4 for a lifetime, right? So these are things that you can, and breadfruit can be used ripe, it could be used unripened, you could process it in the flour, and so many different things. It's so versatile. It's another way to sustain ourselves and to sustain communities, because in disaster preparedness, we talk a lot about hurricane preparedness. A lot of people a lot of people are maybe low income and they may not have, they're like, I can't afford to prepare for have a hurricane kit or a disaster kit. But I always encourage anyone, low income, middle income, whatever, you don't have to prepare 2 weeks before a storm. You can prepare year round. So if you're a backyard farmer trying to get into backyard farming, you can start drying your tea bush. So you have tea, right? That you and you vacuum seal in your kit. You can start growing breadfruit and processing breadfruit in different ways. You can start canning. If you want to purchase things from the store, instead of purchasing, say, $300 worth of supplies one time, you can piece. This month you might buy extra can of milk. This month you may buy, extra set of batteries. So we try to teach people that, and that kind of rolls over to the food security, because and everyone doesn't have a green thumb, right? Everyone does not want to plant food, so they may want to start, like I said, with a tea bush, and they can process that. They can dry that out, and that can sustain them throughout the storm and after.
Okay. As I listen to you, I wanted to ask about the longevity. I know you said that it's not basically just about agriculture, but it's different aspects that you would look at, whatever issues the various communities may have that you may seek to address. But as I listen to a bit of what you're sharing, it speaks a lot to resilient crops, um, eating what you grow locally and stuff like that. One of the challenges I see that we are faced with um, in the Caribbean and in our parts is the maintenance of our indigenous crops and also some of our heirloom seeds. And I'm curious as to, in terms of the projects that you guys are going to be rolling out, if there's any serious emphasis that's going to be placed in, for example, maybe having seed banks. Because as you speak about things that are happening around the world, we have issues where big companies out there are modifying the seeds because they want to be able to control the genetics, whether it's by patenting them and owning them, and or modifying them to the point that you cannot necessarily get back seeds from crops you grow, so you become dependent on companies to buy seeds, um, versus us having the opportunity to recycle our seeds and ensure to some extent that because our seeds will be climatized to the soil, it will be much better to the people who are living on the soil itself. So some of those issues, I know I've put not a lot of things together, but I'm hoping that you could look through it and respond to it.
I think
I can
that's a
answer.
fabulous idea. Sorry, Cesar. I was gonna say that I don't think a lot of, I may be talking from my ignorance because maybe there is, but as far as I know, a lot of places in the Caribbean do not have seed banks, right? We do, just like we import everything else, a lot of us are importing seeds, the nurseries and things like that. So I think that that's a wonderful idea, and we should. It could be something that is researched and implemented into our hubs. I know in the states, in the public libraries, a lot of public libraries do have seed banks that are a part of their libraries, and that may be something that could be implemented on a smaller scale locally.
Yeah.
Caesar,
I
is
would. I want.
something that would allow Caesar to add to the response as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely. We don't have like the specific concept of seed banks, but part of the design of the gardens, and all gardens have the same principle. We focus on open pollinated seeds is something that is already in mind, and also we encourage, and when we create the garden, it's not only we create the garden and we finish. The garden is just like the place to start working. The garden component also include workshops, training, community gathering, and part of the training that we do also incorporate the importance of seeds, or saving seeds, how to properly storage those seeds, how to what is important to of the open pollinated, and the importance of having the seeds. So definitely it's something that we already have in mind and work. But I really like the idea of maybe a seed bank that could, because at the end, the importance of the resilient hubs is also we are creating a network of resilient hubs across the region. So definitely it's something that we can do and connect all the resilient hubs with this initiative. I think it's a good way to go.
So thank you for
Okay,
that
and
So one
idea.
of the
yes, go ahead, Banky.
yeah, I was just trying to figure out, since it's in the community of Hickmans, how does is there a group? So how can one or from other villages, communities around the island, be a part of this? Is there contact? They getting somebody get in contact with someone within the community? How does this work? Is specifically for the
Uh,
people of in Hickman that to be a part of this organized group.
for now, I would give my contact information that people can, and I can connect them with community members at Hickman's. Do you want me to give
Hmm.
my information now or at the end of the
Sure,
program?
that's fine. No, that's fine. That's fine. If anyone listening don't want to get in contact with, that's fine. Sure, you can.
Okay,
Yes.
so grab a pen. my my email address is AGRILESCARINO at Mercy Corps. That's MERCYCORPS.org. My phone number is area code 340-277-1506. And you can WhatsApp me as well. So three four
Okay.
zero 277 1506. And my full email address is agrilescarino@mercycorps.org. And I'll share it again later as well.
Okay,
There we go.
beautiful. Yahsonn?
Thank you, Rio.
Okay, so yes, nice, and I am loving what I'm hearing, and I, I am now curious as to find out if, like, for example, this hub that will be set up in and maybe other in the other territories as well. The intent would be to have it sort of as a demo model, and then after the success of it, be able to replicate it in other communities on St. Kitts and Nevis as well, or it would be, each country will be limited to one hub, so to speak. How does that work? Any one of you can respond, Amy or Cesar. It doesn't matter. I just wanted to figure out, like, how does that part work? Like, is it just going to be one hub for each country, or like that one in Hickman's? If it's a success, then the model would be replicated, could be replicated in another community if maybe there's a request for it.
Well, for this specific project, time frame, it's just these four. We prior to this, the project was started in Puerto Rico, and we had now. Cesar, correct me if it's is it 16 or 17 hubs?
17.
17
It's
hubs.
17.
But
Yeah.
it's at 17. So 17 hubs in Puerto Rico. But as far as I know, I can say it's just one hub for this specific project. And that would if other hubs come online later, it will really depend on the availability of funding.
Okay.
And I know you mentioned earlier training will be taking part within the facility itself and so forth. So, but while the greenhouse is doing, is training going to be doing, like side and side while the construction part going, so everything just flow, and not just. I'm not sure how everything is organized when it comes to the garden. Well, setting up the greenhouses, how we're going to flow training will be continuous simultaneously. So by the time the greenhouse is finished, those who are going to be a part of it already have some training that would lead right into growing up the crops and stuff like that. How does that is in planning work is in place?
Yeah, really, in Nevis, specifically, we will be running with because we need to the resilient hubs in Hickman will be building from scratch. So this involves like some logistic. So we are planning to build the garden as soon as the resilient hubs is complete. So in this particular community, we need to move as soon as we get everything complete. We start moving like the workshops and all the training activities. But we are right now working with the community, making the we already make the focus group. We are in consultation with the community, the design. We are almost finishing the design of the garden. So we are working, but like the most of the training will be like after the completion of the garden, also for safety reason. But in the meantime, if there's an opportunity to make some activities, it's something that we could do also.
Okay, nice. Yahsonn?
Yes, it sounds pretty much great, and I'm happy that Nevis has been selected to be a part of this first rollout, especially knowing that it was just in Puerto Rico. They actually have 17 over there, and they're now expanding and coming, and we were selected to be a part of the first rollout. So I'm really looking forward to seeing this, and we want to let you guys know that we would definitely have the platform open for you guys to return to keep us updated with whatever it is that you guys are doing as the project progresses and so on, or if there's any added information that you would want to come and share with us. Uh, I know that one of you are um, very much in terms of community garden. I think that's Amy. Um, tell us a little bit about your interest in that area and what are some of the things that you plan to implement, so to speak, in some of these hubs. Because I think you're going to be playing a very critical role in some of these hubs that are being rolled out.
Actually, the community gardens are Cesar.
So Caesar, you're the coming. Okay, so Caesar, then tell me about
Yeah.
that. What are your plans in that regard?
Regarding the garden.
Yes.
So the garden will have rainwater harvesting system that is included in all of the gardens. We really that's the rainwater harvesting and also irrigation system. We plan like one of the main goal also is all of our gardens can be like a center of exchange learning like in technology for agriculture. So we are very interested in using like a good rainwater harvest system that are like efficient, also the irrigation system. And it's not only to of course serves the community, but if people around can see the system working, they could replicate those on their house and also on the farm. In San Lucia, uh, we have a, a different approach because in San Lucia, the community where will be the resilient hubs is most of them are farmers. It's like a farmers community. So the use of the garden really according to the needs of the community is maybe not necessarily produce food. It will be more focused on creating a space to grow food, but that space will be completely designed to make a center where farmers could get there and see the system running and try to replicate those on the island on their farms. And also we will be doing a small processing facility inside the resilient hubs. Uh, that's as I say, all gardens will be different and will be based on the needs. But here in Nevis, the garden will have at the greenhouse enclosed will be will have also the irrigation and the rainwater harvesting. Security will be fenced. Uh, we'll have a composting area to promote the because every garden needs an area to compost and also we'll be have some space to like storage for the farmers tools equipment and also have some areas where people can gather in the gardens like if you have to make a workshop in the garden, you will have a space where you can connect with the community. So that's basically like in a summary of the design.
Okay, and now you
Nice.
mentioned earlier about disaster. Some of the agencies that is partaking in this project, but I'm not sure how if there's room for the agriculture department or ministry when it comes to assisting to work with the extension staff closely within that project. I'm not sure if that any of that is a part of it. Right, what that wasn't mentioned is
So I
how is
can
that
speak to that.
working?
We did
Yes.
mention one of Nevis Disaster Management Department being one of our
Yeah.
local partners, but we we are here in Nevis really to attend the Agri Expo 30 and to introduce ourselves to the wider community because we have met a lot of people from Hickman's community because we've done some focus group and some other meetings. But we did talk to the Ministry of Agriculture. I think he was at our last meeting that we were here at last summer, and we've spoken to him a great deal recently this weekend or this past week, and we got to meet the director of agriculture as well. So we'll continue those conversations, and I'm sure that we'll have a partnership with them throughout the project as well.
Well, Banky would have mentioned a bit earlier about the connection with St. Croix and Nevis. But just to go into a little bit more of it, um, they, there have been that serious relationship in terms of farming and agriculture between Nevis, well, St. Kitts and Nevis and St. Croix. For the past 13 years, the agricultural expo that you guys have in St. Croix, that big event where um, people from all over the Caribbean come and bring their produce and so forth. Nevis would have walked away with that championship for the past 13 years consecutive.
Wow.
I think last year as well, what added to that, um, Nevis got first place and St. Kitts got second place last year in terms of that competition. So there is that direct or agricultural link already set there. So I'm sure that people would look forward to continue having that link. And in terms of St. Croix, historically, a lot of the people from St. Kitts and Nevis would have migrated back in early days as well to St. Croix and St. Thomas because they have families in St. Croix as well. And some of my families over there, one of the things that they were big in was having roadside stalls. They had, roadside stalls selling fruits and vegetables, mangoes and turnips and avocado and so on. As Banky talked about, being all over St. Croix, I remember the same, driving down the countryside, going on some of those orchards and so on to look mangoes and avocados to come back up to sell, whether it's at um, Honey Isles or 2+2 or over where the Pizza
Lorraine,
Hut is, Lorraine, yes.
Shaw
So
Lorraine.
those are three stores that my aunt used to run those areas when we were in St. Croix. And so that relationship, like I'm saying, my aunt was originally from Nevis as well. So that relationship is pretty much intact. So it's good that we're going to get the opportunity to go and expand it out. So I spoke to the seed bank aspect of it. Um, but then again, you said that you're going to work with whatever the needs the communities may have. We spoke to the monkeys, and well, we said that we're not sure how we're gonna deal with that as well. I realized that Cesar also spoke to the agro processing component. I know you said earlier on, Amy, that marketing is your baby. So that would be the other and another critical component because growing the food is one thing, having the water, having all of these variables, then being able to produce it. You would need market in some cases for the raw material, and also when you produce these value added products. Would, for example, training to be able to meet USDA standards and or FDA standards be things that would be a part of what you guys would be seeking to put forward as well, so that when we do have these value-added products or we create these value-added products, I think I heard something about moringa in one of your when I was reading of the intro as well. That is something that can go pretty well here on Nevis, and it's a huge industry that we can tap into. So I'm just looking at the agro processing side of it. If that's part of what you guys have in mind, and meeting the USDA and FDA certification, so that will put not just the community, but the island on a whole in a position to be better set to take care of themselves and also to bring in some additional revenue. So,
That
Amy,
could
maybe.
um, that could be a possibility. One thing I don't think we mentioned, we did talk about the community garden aspect of the resilience hubs, but the each community garden is completely different. So it's what the community wants. And for instance, in Nevis, the community may want to have their basically export their or sell the produce that they harvest. In another community garden, they may grow that and For instance, one of the ideas in St. Croix is maybe for the surrounding community, the residents, to adopt a bed, to have vegetable beds, and then each building or neighbor adopts a bed, and they say they either maintain it for themselves and their family, and not sell it. So it really depends on what they want. But if the Nevis Hub decides that, hey, we want to grow this to export it into value-added products, so we want training in marketing and to prepare us for the proper certifications to export, that's a possibility. But like I say, it really depends, because I don't want to say yes and then everyone is like, we want to keep the food to ourselves.
Right.
Okay.
I
Yahsonn, you
want
want
to
to take a
add.
break when they finish?
Yeah. So what I
Go
Can
can
I?
ahead.
do
Go ahead,
is
Caesar.
let Caesar
Let
get in
Caesar go
and
ahead.
make.
Yeah, I just want to add that, as Aimée say, for example, in San Lucia, we already have a list of maybe some of the workshops, because, as I say, every garden will be different. Also, all of the training could be different according to the communities. So in the list that we have already, like, brainstorming for course, will be training on FISMA, the Food Modernization Safety Act of the, yeah, to comply with USDA requirements. Also, we are thinking about good manufacturing practices courses, and also good agriculture gap, good agriculture practices, and of course one of the component will be uh, business, like agribusiness, of course, will be tailored to the needs of the farmers in the region. But we are thinking that the workshop not necessarily will be how to manage a garden, how to produce, how to build a garden, how to produce. In San Lucia, we are working right now with farmers, so they what they need really more, maybe some workshops on agribusiness, marketing of agriculture processing. So in that case, we are moving with other type of workshops, but in the other jurisdiction, including Nevis, the focus will not be necessarily like farmers, will be like community. So we need to train the community how to grow food first, and definitely maybe that could be like, if we get funding, more projects, that could be a second part, like high in the level, and maybe those community members that start growing, that could promote some farmers and start a new farmers, and maybe that could be a second phase, like scaling up those farmers to a real business. But at the moment, we are focused, as I say, in Nevis, Jamaicans and Croix will be more like for community gardening, but in San Lucia we're gonna be more focused on the farmers, because of the community.
Thank you. But Banky, what I'll do, I'll read a couple of the comments that's on the Facebook wall while and the YouTube platform, whilst the technician get ready for the commercial break, and then probably by the time I'm finished with the comments, we can take the commercial break, and then when we come back, folks, if you want to call in and have a question and be a part of the discussion, you'll be free to be able to call 1-869 662 7196. That's 1-869 662 7196. And that will be the number to call in if you want to be a part of the program. Oliver Leibert says, hi, Banky and Yahsonn, and all in the house. Good night. T Garden says, good night, Aimée, Cesar, and the host. Great to be listening
Good night.
in. Cheech Warner says, blessed love. Alvy Davis says, stay strong, Banky. And those are the comments that we have so far. So, folks, people are listening in, and they're loving what they're hearing so far. We're going to take a break, give you all an opportunity to, maybe sip on a glass of water or something. We got some honey here.
Yeah, from
next
Olive's honey. Big up Olive. Yeah, man. No respect. Appreciate that. It just came up yesterday for the agriculture fair and give me a call and surprise me. So if you want honey, just call Oliver. Definitely telephone number 668 I see 37, 34. Yeah. Beautiful taste, lovely brethren. Yeah, man, don't start eating on it, you know. Yeah,
All right. So
nice.
peace
So
and
that's on
blessings.
this
Blessings
is
to
yours,
all.
eh? Just to let you know that this is yours.
Okay, no problem. Peace and blessings to all. I'm listening. That's Troy Sadio. And with that, we'll take a commercial break. And so, technician, take us out with the commercial break.
When comfort, class, and reliability matter, choose the ride that delivers more. Imperial Rides Transportation Services, where every journey is treated like royalty. From airport transfers, private events, shopping trips, island tours, and executive travel, Imperial Rides moves you in style, clean, comfortable, on time, every time. Book your premium taxi or tour service today. Call or WhatsApp 869-665-8459 or email elandflavas@gmail.com. Imperial Rides Transportation Services. Your journey, our priority.
At Shabazz Organics, we believe real people deserve real food. So we're bringing you to Mansa's Last Stop, a farm where food barriers are removed and legacy is sustained. We believe there's power in picking, so we allow you to decide what leaves the farm and enters your kitchen organically.
Beat the summer heat. Come and get your carambola, star fruit, make very nice drink. Come pick them yourself. All the trees them full of vitamin C, antioxidant, build up your immune system. Mine's the last stop. A whole shopping bag, only $10. Half a shopping bag, you pay $5. If you get $2, you must get some. Come get your carambola. Don't want to go to wait. Let's go, people.
At Shabazz Organics, we believe real people deserve real food. So we're bringing you to Mansa's Last Stop, a farm where food barriers are removed and legacy is sustained. We believe there's power in picking, so we allow you to decide what leaves the farm and enters your kitchen organically.
Beat the summer heat. Come and get your carambola, star fruit, make very nice drink. Come pick them yourself. All the trees them full of vitamin C, antioxidant, build up your immune system. Mine's the last stop. A whole shopping bag, only $10. Half a shopping bag, you pay $5. If you get $2, you must get some. Come get your carambola. Don't want to go to wait. Let's go, people. Yes, and we are back, and welcome to the Everything Agriculture Show. If you're just tuning in, we have our special guest here. from Mercy Corp, we have Cesar and we have Aimée. We're talking about food security and community garden. They're here. The corporation company is here working on a project here in the island of Nevis, mainly in the village of Hickman Village, at the community center, a large area play field, which over the years, for decades, have been one of the most area that have family functions in that spot and have been, I think there was a situation where something sad had happened, and after that incident, it had never been revived since. So I'm happy that someone is taking that initiative in the community to revive that area and bring it back to life, because as I said, I tend to drive it in that area from time to time and come around the back way and just seeing that space sitting there, nothing I've been doing to it, and the building been deteriorating, and the land space with all the different gazebos and stuff was lot. I mean, that area have been used for so much fun for over the decades for thousands and thousands of people within the community. It's definitely needed that, and I must give kudos to you guys and anyone who have anything to do with it on the island of Nevis and anywhere to making this happen. It definitely benefit the people of Nevis. So my thing is, what is in place to make sure this project have continuity for years to come and not just start off and then by 2028 the end of it, when it's open 6 months later it dropped off. What is in place? How we're going to supervise this project? How you are going to communicate and stay in contact and making sure this thing is maintaining itself and is the project works and continue to be successful as a model. Any one of you can answer the question. Your power, Cesar, your mic mute.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Very
Yes.
much loud and clear.
Okay. So I will start, maybe Aimée could complement, but I think that for us, like, the continuity of the project is one of the most important part of this project, and start in the planification process. In the design, we already are thinking on the sustainability plan for the project, and it's something that we work with the community. That's why we encourage always, like, it's not only design, like the design for the garden, is also we have to design the administrative part of the garden. Of course, every garden will be different. Every garden have its own, like, management structure, and we work from the beginning in those community consultation, community focus group. One of the things that we discuss is how they see the gardens and the resilient hubs operating by itself. So it's very important to design according on how the communities want to grow, to move the project. For example, as I say, in Jamaica, the one of the main reasons of having, like, the seedling selling seedling for the community is because they know that they need money to run the garden. They will sometimes need money to pay people to work, because maybe some of the resilient hubs work with volunteers, but we know that for gardens, volunteers really helps a lot. But sometimes volunteers has another are volunteers. They maybe can have
Of
another
course.
priorities, and maybe we need to sometimes pay have money to pay salaries or stipends to promote people. So definitely, our project is not only build all of the in the during the process of the building of the workshop. We are working also on the administrative part, giving empower the community to have the tool to manage the
Okay.
gardens, and also, like, the resilient hubs.
Beautiful.
Okay.
The telephone
And
lines
I
are
can
open.
add to that. I can add to
Yeah, go
that.
ahead. Go ahead, Amy.
Uh, like I said, we're developing these gardens for the community, but it belongs to the community. So it's not like we're just like, here's the keys, goodbye forever. We're making sure, we've been in conversations with the community from the beginning, and that is helping us to develop a governance strategy to help them plan to maintain not only the building itself but the gardens. And the more responsibility, I feel that people are more invested if it's for their community, right? So the more that we get them involved, the more that they want to be a part of it, and they take pride in making sure that, because they were with the project from the beginning, so they want to make sure that, because it's a certain level of respect they have for their community, and because it belongs to them as well, right? So they don't want to look bad, right? So they're gonna make sure that they maintain that center. They're gonna make sure that they maintain those gardens, and because they take pride in it. So we make sure that we give them the tools and the resources, not just at the end, the end that the gardens are done, the hub is done, and that's it. We develop a strategy, like I said, and we provide training for maintenance and for the administrative part of the maintenance as well. And NEMA's disaster management will be in support of that part of it as well. As well as they're going to have trainings for, like I said, the solar component of the garden. Of the project, the garden component, and the management of the building itself.
Yeah.
So,
Beautiful.
Go ahead, Cesar.
Yeah, I forget to say that also, like in our focus group, and also we did some of that here. We try to encourage not only community members. We always try to have stakeholders of the agriculture sector during this type of consultation. For example, we have people from Extension Service in some jurisdiction. We have people from Department of Agriculture or Minister. We have farmers, like already farmers working that participate on the consultation and also part of the process. So we always want to create like a network between stakeholders and the community, because we at the end of the project, in some time we have to leave. So we try to connect also with people, stakeholders around the community and around the area that could help benefit the communities after we go. So that's also part of our work, create like a network to help the sustainability of the project.
Nice. So, okay, what I'm going to do this right now. I'm going to encourage the folks who are listening to call in. The numbers are 662-7196. That's 1-869-662-7196. That's if you want to, have a question for Cesar or Aimée, or, any other comment that you want to add. What I want to do right now is, since Cesar had the mic just a moment ago, and since Cesar happens to be in the territory that already have at least 16 or 17 of these projects up and running, to kind of give us an idea of, let's say, one or two of the most successful or meaningful ones to you that you think you would want to share, the story behind that you're working with in Puerto Rico, and give us a little idea of maybe how long that project or your oldest project is, whether it's 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, so at least we could get a little context in that regard.
Okay, so I will start with one resilient hubs in Puerto Rico, and here is the same. When we created resilient hubs, we partnered with community-based organizations that are already like working on the area. So in Puerto Rico, of around the 17 resilient hubs, you will see different types of CBO. You could find CBOs that are like social community kitchens. You could see farmers association. You could see schools. You could see CBOs that work with elderly people. We have a different like a different objective and different CBOs, but one of the resilient hosts in Puerto Rico that I've seen, I really like, and all are very important for me. But one of I think it's very important to describe is one that is called AMPA. I will say the name in Spanish for it's called Asociación Manabeña de Pequeños Agricultores, but it's Maunabo is a small town in Puerto Rico, and it's an association of small business, small farmers, and that resilient hub. The purpose of that hub, like one of the main reasons, was to prepare the hub to be ready for farmers after an emergency. Also can go there and after hurricanes can go there and start working with the insurance and all the if they have some paperwork to do for of maybe some government helps aids that they do for after emergency. So I remember that that resilient hub was fully working like during the pandemic. So one of the we at the 2020 one of the main problem that have the organization was that with all the COVID restriction on the island, it was very difficult for farmers to move the produce because that's even like change all the logistic and the distribution, and it was really hard. So with that in mind, and the resilient hubs was in a community that needs a lot of support, we that resilient hubs it was not necessarily part of that project, but we saw an opportunity, and we moved that community center as at that moment. Right now it's not working, it's not working as that, but in that moment we moved the resilient hubs as a center where farmers move all their products, and we partnered with another resilient hubs in that municipality that receive some box like food box that were distributed around the family or on that community. So that's part of our the importance of the network of resilient hubs. Two resilient hubs can connect and can make like activities together. In that case, it was really nice because farmers get like Mercy Corps pay for the foods, and the other organization organize all the food and prepare boxes and distribute that for families in the community. So for me, that's really a good example of how this system could work together, and maybe when we left and we finished like the resilient hubs, not necessarily will work the same. They can evolve and work according the needs at that time. And those I think all the resilient hubs are still working right now. The project was I think finished like 2019, and they are still working. So that's something good. You see, some of the garden needs more attention, but they are running. So that gives us like good hopes for the next project.
Wonderful, and at least that also give a little bit more security for persons who would be recognizing, okay, well, this is the first in their region, but at least you have, at least based on what you would have just pointed out, since some of them would have been established in 2019, you're talking at least 6, 7 years of experience to show the level of continuity, as we spoke about. The other thing is I really love what Aimée was highlighting, the sort of hand-holding approach that is necessary sometimes, because okay, like for I think it's a Nevis, and a Nevis. Let me zoom in on Nevis. sorry, we have a lot of great farmers on Nevis, but they might not necessarily equate to great business persons or agro business persons. And so some of the things that they may be able to benefit from if they were that business minded, they sometimes it sometimes passes over, whether it's grants, whether it's opportunities for training and so on, or for seeking to get maybe interest-free loans, very low interest loans and so on. They just might not have the capability to put the business plans together, do the estimates and, all of those things that, would be necessary. Maybe do the bookkeeping, the recording and things like that. Those are some of the areas that I think in a lot of cases that we are lacking. So with you saying that, I'm hoping that these are things that as the project goes along and you get, these hubs up and going, that the persons who are trained, you'll be able to have that continuous, approach where you can help and, guide and assist to make sure that even if you have to leave, that, you would have trained 10, 20 persons who would then be able to be like the trainers, so to speak, that can continue what you would have started.
I can speak to that. I will say we have a similar issue. I've had similar discussions with the Good Food Coalition here in St. Croix, and farmers being, not having not that they don't have it, they don't have the capacity for it because they're focused on being on the farm, making sure that they feed their community. So they don't have time to learn QuickBooks or to design packaging, nice packaging that's appealing, that gets their product at the front of the shelf in the store. And
Right,
that's why
right.
we have trainings, and that's also a good way to. It's a good segue for the youth to come into agriculture because everyone doesn't want to be a farmer, and having a farm is a business, and it's more than just, of course, planting is a big part of it, but you have the marketing side, you have the business side, and that's where I think the best idea is to bring in young people because they have fresh ideas, and they have different skill sets. They have business, they have accounting, they have bookkeeping, they have testing, right? Testing to build more resilient crops, to control pests, to control monkeys. They have, and that plays into STEM and technology. So incorporating them and adding different trainings that they can support the farms. Like, because they may not. I met a lot of students this past week, and a lot of them are like, oh, I'm not into planting, right? But they're into video games, they're into technology, they're into, being on Facebook and TikTok, and that's a skill set they could use to translate into something that could benefit the farm as well, right? So some of those students can create TikTok videos that now when tourists and long-term or like snowbirds or long-term visitors to Nevis that, oh, well, I can go to John's farm because they have XYZ honey, or because I saw a TikTok or my child showed me a TikTok or whatever. So that's another way to bring people in a different, more creative way. I won't say more creative, but a different appeal to a different audience to bring more people in. So I think the farmers don't have the capacity, and it's not that they don't want to learn. A lot of them will tell you, I am doing not enough, but I don't have the time to
Yeah.
plant, reap, harvest, and then still try to apply for a grant, right? So they need support in an administrative capacity, in a accounting capacity, bookkeeping capacity, and marketing communications capacity as well. And that's things that could be outsourced, and those are trainings that we can offer to not only the farmers but to students who may be interested in those fields in Nevis as well.
And that's why I'm giving you the opportunity to kind of expose a bit of your side, because I know you said that is, part of your baby. So that's kind of why I kind of leaned the question that way as well, because I figure that would be a part of it. But I wanted for you to be able to, as you mentioned, bring in the youth, get the young people to realize that, because this is part of what we do. I mean, you guys wouldn't know, but that was part of what I did as a part of my career. I was a teacher at some point, so I taught agriculture, science, and social studies at the secondary level. And so that was one of the challenges that I had, to sort of rewire the brains of the youth to take away that, whether it's slavery sentimentality and or just seeing agriculture as working in the land and hard work and so on, be able to introduce them to various aspects and various career opportunities and so on in agriculture, and start to see it from a different perspective, and also see it as a business. And so it is something that is very, very critical and important. And like you talk about using some of the modern aspects, whether it's TikTok, whether it's get them to realize, hey, you might think that you're not in agriculture, but if you're a drone operator, you might have the skills now to be able to use drone technology that is utilized in agriculture for spraying and things like that and so on. And so, it's giving them that option. You could make an app. Maybe you might have that skill and ability to make an app that might be useful in some agricultural field and so on, and get them to realize that there are many different areas that you can tap into. So those are some of the things that I'm really happy to hear, and happy to hear that you guys are open to. And so I'm seeking to give you guys the opportunity to, as much as possible, sell yourselves, let the Nivision public and the world also hear, because I'm sure, you're listened to on this platform by people all over the world. And I'm sure some other countries out there may be envious right now, saying, "Boy, I wish my country could be getting this too." You know what I mean? And so, you get that opportunity for them to hear, maybe eventually reach out to you and say, "Hey, in the next batch, or the next time you roll out, look at Grenada, or look at, St. Vincent or Antigua, So I'm really happy for that. Folks, the lines are still open. 1-869-662-7196. And or if you want to put your questions on the platform, whether it's YouTube or Twitch TV or Facebook, we want to encourage folks to also, all of you who are listening this evening, just one simple request. We're not asking for any money. We're not asking for any donation. Just, go on over to the YouTube platform, subscribe to Real Entertainment Network on YouTube, click on the notification bell so that every time we have a program here, that you are fully informed. West Girl says, good night, everyone. Ruthlyn Hill says, Ruthlyn Hill is watching with you. That's okay. That this name here is too interesting for me to pronounce, so I'll just work with the last 4 digits. It says 1531, so that's what the Nestinga. Okay, but you tying up my tongue tonight, a girl, whichever one. Says Bankie, big up. Troy Sadia says peace and blessings to all. Blessed
Give
evening,
thanks,
says
big up.
and yeah. So, folks, you're free to call in. We continue with our special guest this evening. Tonight, we're talking about food security, food sovereignty, and, not just talking about it, but we're hearing and seeing 2 folks here from Mercy Corps who are definitely making significant contributions and demonstrating that they don't just talk about offering some of these solutions, but they actually rolling them out. Cesar is telling us about at least 17 projects that they already have up and running in Puerto Rico, and they have been established for a number of years. And so you don't have to question and wonder if this thing is just a 2-year thing and then it's off. He's demonstrating that most of them are up from at least 2019, and we're in now 2026. So, Nevis, you're on the map, you're on the radar, along with Jamaica and St. Croix, who are in the rollout now, because they have sort of perfected this thing in Puerto Rico. And Cesar, with his knowledge and expertise and experience, is teaming up with Aimée to ensure that the rest of the Caribbean islands that they're going to be rolling out to would be just as successful as Puerto Rico, and maybe even more successful. Jawala says, good night, everyone. West Girl says, big up to the brilliant Aimée, love alone. Okay, so yes, Aimée, you got some fans inside the house here. T Garden 758 says, beautiful discussion. Miss Betty Loss says, hi everyone, blessings. Miss Betty Loss says, you're probably going to give me more anxiety and stress, aren't you? Bye. Okay. I don't know who is that, but if you're gonna get anxiety and stress, right here is the place for the solutions as well, because we have a lot of products that we can offer in terms of natural plant-based products that can help you to get rid of that. Talking about anxiety and stress, does any of the projects that you guys, well, sorry, maybe this might be to Cesar because all of us now are going to be new, but any of the projects include cannabis in any way, shape, or form? No? Or
I
you
think
may
you're
be
on mute
muted?
again, Cesar. Cesar.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No, those no. Uh, most all of the gardens had focus like edible foods, maybe teas, but cannabis is not included.
Okay. No, just curious. I just because of the question of anxiety and so on, and I know that from the medical side that has some. Yeah. Okay. So great. Um,
I can
but
speak to
also,
the St. Croix project. As we mentioned early, all the gardens are really based on what the community wants, and they're designed to meet the community's not only needs but wants. And in St. Croix, the project is a little different. Their garden, they're focusing more on healing and wellness. So their garden is very. They will have be fruit trees, but they're focused more on like tea bush and also having a place for reflection. Um, it being like a quiet, serene space for like, and they're hoping to have like maybe yoga, um, and just a space for people to go when they to get away from the hustle and bustle and take a minute to pause and reflect. So that garden is going to be different in itself. So it speaks to the anxiety component, anxiety and stress, because it is going to be in downtown Christiansted. But people can walk away when the space that we're using. If you're like walking around town, of course it's busy, but once you get into that space, it's very quiet. So it's like you're transported to a different serene environment. So we'll have some anxiety calming effects at the St. Croix Garden.
oh, okay, no, sorry. I smile because the comment. So like, Miss Betty Loss was informing me or us that she was referring to Joel, another commenter. So it was not necessarily directed to us. It was more
Oh,
her
okay.
responding to somebody else in the chat. So thank you for that. And that's why we always say that here on this platform we try our best to take in the comments from those who are on the wall, because they're a part of the conversation or the conversation. Because without them, we would just be here talking to ourselves. Um,
Hmm.
the people who are listening, but at least they let us know that they are listening and they become a part of the discussion. And so we welcome that as much as possible. So those of you out there, if you don't want to call in, feel free to, weigh in. Like I'm seeing West Girl saying, gardening isn't just about planting seeds. It's about it's about planting peace. Studies have shown that being in nature helps to reduce stress, calm the mind, and support better mental health. There is something about fresh air, sunlight, and getting your hands in the earth that resets your spirit in a way nothing else quite can. And yes, definitely, we totally agree with that. Miss Betty Loss says, um, need lots of ways for exercising because it's lower stress. And well, I guess she hasn't completed her thought. It says, and increases, but I guess maybe that comment will follow up. But yes, so people are listening, people are commenting, and a lot of them are on the right track because some of what they're saying aligns with what you were just saying, um, Aimée, in relation to the project and St. Croix. And I'm glad that we are having these discussions as well, because I guess the folks in Nevis and the other Caribbean territories, Jamaica and so on, would have a better idea as well to, well, we don't have to limit ourselves to X or Y, but, if we do have needs and so on, that we can, communicate and see how well you guys are able to accommodate, whatever changes and or amendments may be necessary and so on. So wonderful. I don't know if you want to respond to any of the comments and or add anything else, because we are now down to maybe our last 15-20 minutes. So, and or if Bankie maybe have any other questions that he may want to ask, as we continue.
Well, I would just like Aimée and Cesar, for anyone who just joining us, to go over a quick overview of the project, for what we're talking about, them, and they miss anything, where it's located, and how the project came about and stuff like that, and how anyone can get in contact with her if they want to be a part of the project along that line. Can I just say, yeah.
Okay, so I'll reintroduce myself. Good evening. My name is Aimée Griles-Cariño. I am the Community Resilience Officer for Nevis and St. Croix for Mercy Corps. We work for the Caribbean Resilience Initiative, and our project here in Nevis is going to be in Hickman's community in Gingerland Parish. The project has been designed with the community in mind, and the goal is to create a space that supports agriculture, community engagement, and disaster preparedness, while also strengthening local networks that help communities respond during emergencies. Here in Nevis, we're partnering with Nevis Disaster Management Department and OECS. And we are here actually in Nevis this week. We've had a great week of outreach. We've been to St. Thomas Primary, and some other schools I can't remember off the top of my head. We've also had a booth at Agri Expo 30. We were here to just introduce ourselves to the wider Nevis community and let them know more about our project. We had hundreds of people come by and get to meet Cesar, myself, and our community resilience coordinator, Fedora, who couldn't be with us tonight. So shout out to Fedora. I also want to shout out Miss Hazel, who put us in connection with Bankie, and Yahsonn as well. I also want to say thank you to all the listeners who are listening. West Girls, hi Tati, hi Arlene. I see Jennifer is listening, and everyone listening from St. Croix, Tremaine in Texas, and to all my colleagues and friends and family all over the world. If anyone wants to get in contact with me in Nevis, or people outside of Nevis who want to get more information about Mercy Corps and the Caribbean Resilience Initiative project, you can reach out to me. My phone number is 340-277-1506. And if you can listen really fast, my email is agrilescarino@mercycorps.org. But if you call me or text me, you can text me on WhatsApp. If you're in Nevis, I can send you that information and provide you with any other details that you may want or want to learn about our project.
Beautiful. Cesar, anything you want to refresh on?
Wait, before Cesar comes in, right?
Okay. Yes.
I am really loving the audience this evening, because we have Miss Betty Luss, where she was the one who started the comment saying needs lots of ways for exercising because it lowers stress and increases. So the follow-up is feeling good hormones, right? So that ended that statement. She's also saying, I am wondering why there are 40 people in here, but only 15 thumbs up. So folks, you need to, you know what you need to do. Like, share, subscribe, click on the notification bell so that you're informed whenever we have a program here on Real Entertainment Network. Joala 12 says, Betty Luss, hello. Pedro Jamat 6120 says greetings. Miss Betty Luss says, Joella, I thought you left. She says, hi Pedro. She says to please say your contact information again. And I guess Betty Luss and Pedro and Joella is having, their little conversations and exchange in the...
Yeah, I'll create a party in the comments to this evening.
Yes. and we welcome it. We welcome the conversations and the comments and all that, and we welcome you back whenever we have, our programs here on Real Entertainment Network. So what you can do is just kindly subscribe to the platform and click on the notification bell. Amy, you could give your number one more time. I think that most people use WhatsApp in these times. So I think probably that would be
Yeah.
easier for them to reach you. And then we will give Caesar the opportunity to respond as he was going to respond as well.
Okay, before I do that, I want to give a shout out to our wider CRI team. Hi, Paula. Paula is our infrastructure project manager. She is the brains and want to say some of the muscle behind the logistics for our operation. Colin in Jamaica, Nara, Ethan, Christopher in St. Lucia, Dianette, who I harass a lot, and Anna in Puerto Rico, and Derniel as well in Jamaica. And once again, my phone number is area code 340-277-1506. And shout out to Allison, Fonda, and Lauren as well. I did not forget you.
Okay, so Caesar, the mic is yours now. I hope you remember your thought.
So yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we're hearing you. Yes.
So yeah, just to summarize what we are doing, like in the agriculture part, we are promoting agriculture, sustainable agriculture in the region. Also, we focus on promoting sustainable ways to produce foods, and also sustainable ways to produce foods during these critical times where we are facing some natural challenge and also climate challenge. So we encourage community to see different ways to produce food, and also different way to manage to encourage community to grow his own food. So I think that's basically a summary of what we are doing. And also we use our resilient hubs and urban gardens not only as a space to grow food, it's also a space to connect community, connect farmers, connect also with government or other organizations. So we are looking not only a garden, just a place to produce foods. It's also a place to get knowledge, good time with community, and also encourage the community to create that space where people could know each other, have entertainment in a good and safe place. So I think that basically what we are doing. And thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you everyone for the time listeners. And yeah, we are available, and we expect to be back. So thank you so much.
You are most welcomed, and we definitely welcome you guys back. When it's necessary for an update. I think generally the folks who are listening as well are very much informed. And I think we here on Nevis, and we speak as both Yahsonn Bankie and myself, um, we are definitely proud of the opportunity to be one of the first outside of Puerto Rico to be a part of that, to consider it like a demo, project in the Caribbean, and to be the first two English speaking territories, so to speak, British, former British colonized territory, to be a part of the project. And we are, I'm certain, based on what Banky is saying in terms of what used to happen in Hitman, this will bring back some life and some community energy and some you know activity back in that area, and hopefully it would tap into seeking to help with the food security crisis and offer a lot of options for a lot of the young people who we want to embrace not just agriculture but be more productive in society. And based on some of the things that I've heard, especially like you're going to have the solar component, so that is not necessarily just agricultural based, but you'll have opportunities to learn various skills that you may be able to utilize for yourself. Because if you learn how to set up solar, then you might be able to help someone who might be setting up another farm, or somebody who might be, trying to do something for their home. The skills that you acquire, you might be able to transfer it differently. So we want to thank you guys also, and thank um, Hazel Brandy Williams for making that connect and giving us the opportunity to let your voices be heard. And as you mentioned, you came here specifically to do that, to try to, get the message out and communicate more with the people on the island. As you said, you would have been communicating a lot more with just the people from the Hickman's area. But now you're going to be heard, and you have Aimée presented your number for, folks to reach out. And I'm sure that you're going to get follow-ups and people who might be more interested and getting, more details and stuff like that. And so we look forward. Pedro, well, some comments were in the platform talking about the audio of the speakers, but I think Miss Bettilos is correcting and saying that they're hearing everybody loud. So I don't know if maybe Pedro is having a little bit of issue with his volume on his side, but if that's the case, we want to ensure that everybody can hear us loud and clear. Aimée, Cesar, I'm really loving the work that you guys are doing. I'm loving the project, the concept, the fact that you guys have some years to show that, hey, it works, it can work, and that you're willing to go the extra mile to ensure that it works by seeking to hold the hands of those who are there, train if necessary, guide if necessary, to ensure that the project is a success. And so I'm really, really loving it, and I really look forward to see it roll out in the next couple of months or a year, whenever you start breaking ground and things can begin. Like I said again, we want to ensure that you realize that we have an open platform here for you. So just reach out, whether it's through Hazel, or if no, we would have our own connections eventually. Whichever way it works, you guys are open to come back and update us on what's happening in Nevis, even in Jamaica, even you, what's going on with your project in St. Croix, Aimée. And I'm loving the kind of project that I'm hearing that you guys are having, because I think along that kind of line, I actually have something in mind along that line. So with your expertise, I might be able to tap into some of what you do in terms of planning and putting things like that together. It might not necessarily be a Murphy core project, but at least we just still help out other communities in and around the federation as well. So, Bankie, anything you want to add, and or give Cesar the opportunity, Cesar and Aimée, to give their closing remarks or the closing pitch.
Well, I just want to say I endorse this project definitely. I mean, as I said, over the years and recently, I drove to the area of Hickman's and come around to the back to Zion, and just seeing the area of that space being not being used, and I know the capacity and what have been done over the years, and spending time in that area, it really bring joy to my heart to see it's soon going to be operationalized, and people in the community can enjoy it. And I hope the people in that community appreciate the project and make sure the project remain fruitful and appreciate the work. And can remember, these are donations coming from someone else, and there's a lot of money going to take to involve in this. So when a project like these are initiated, I mean, there is a big responsibility upon all of us on the island of Nevis to make sure this is a continued success, and to make these institutions look good with the continue these other projects, and not years on the road is not just drop off. We wanted to maintain years and years and years and years. So let's make it a success, and in any way I can be a part of that, I can help our expertise can. I'm here to give my support in project like this, because everyone is a winner when this project works and stuff like that. So I want to definitely big up Hazel Bandy William for making this link and initiate this project going and stuff, and all who had a part to play in it. Definitely want to put that out there. Also, just let me say before Caesar get into it, next week Tuesday we'll have part 4, I guess, continuing of the people versus the system. So just want to put that out here. Next week Tuesday will also be on Freedom FM, a partner to give my support to Nobian also. So Caesar, over to you. Your last words, if anything, for both of you.
Yes, I want to invite all to follow up our Facebook page. Is Mercy Corps Caribbean Resilience Initiative. Is I think it's one of the best way to stay in touch with us. We share the activities that we are doing. We also share some information and maybe some resources, agriculture resources, and we can share some of the status of the project. So I invite to follow us and stay in touch. And thank you so much for the opportunity. And thank you. I just thank words, and also I I want to I expect to see you in the future with all the projects you're running and all the results. Yeah, the good results. So thank you so much, and I will pass to Aimée.
You're welcome.
Well,
You're welcome. Beautiful.
I just wanted to say thank you, gentlemen, Bankie, Yahsonn. Thank you once again. Thank you to Hazel for connecting us. And like Cesar said, follow our Facebook page. If you just put, if you're on Facebook, you just put Mercy Corps Caribbean Resilience Initiative in the search bar. You can find us. We share a lot of updates about our program and other initiatives. So you can find us there. I shared my phone number. So you can get in contact with me if you'd like more information about what we're doing in the Caribbean, or if you just have ideas or feedback that you think will be beneficial for any of the hubs that we're doing. Remember, they're going to be in Jamaica, St. Lucia, St. Croix, and Nevis. So if you have ideas for monkey proofing, if you have ideas for training that you think would be beneficial for the community, please share those with us as well. I want to say good night to everyone and make sure you have a safe weekend. And we'll actually be on the Good Old Days radio program tomorrow if you want to tune in over there as well. And as we get more updates, we will definitely be more than happy to come back and share those with you, because we'll be in Nevis more often now that the project has wheels under it.
Beautiful.
All right, and you see how quickly we ran through 2 hours, and you see how relaxing and cool the conversation was. You know,
Yeah.
we told you, it's just a nice reasoning session, and we're gonna go through it. So yes, I'm happy that you guys, felt comfortable, and like I said, you're free to come back and be a part of it. And like Banky would have said as well, I am open as well to, sharing my expertise and skills and anything to, help the project go forward. Because as you mentioned, we all would be winners if the project is a success. And so we want to thank you guys for choosing Nevis. There are many other Caribbean islands, but you ended up on, Nevis happens to be one of the first other three that's chosen for this. And so we want to thank you guys and thank your organizations, the other people who we don't know necessarily yet. But as we get on the platform and we communicate, that we would learn a little bit more about. Miss Betty Love says she can't access Facebook. She's sorry. Oliver Libert says nice. Oliver said, I thought you left too. Sorry. Miss Betty Love says, Oliver, I thought you left too. Hello. Miss Betty Love says, speakers, what can we do to help, especially the poor and the workers with you, to help you all the most? I guess they're trying to figure out, what can they do to make their contributions and make their contributions, work. But that's basically you reach out to Aimée, you reach out to the organization, and they would be able to facilitate you in any way, shape, or form. We really want to thank everybody, all of you who are online, all who have stayed online. Some of you could have left, but you're still here, so which means all that we were saying, you were very much interested in, and we really want to thank all of you. All we're asking before you leave, if you have not done it yet, go on over to the YouTube platform, subscribe, like, click on the notification bell so that you're informed every time we have a program here. Usually we have 3 programs weekly. We have Everything Agriculture on a Friday night. On Mondays, we usually have Quality Time with Alan. That starts usually at 8 o'clock, I think. 8 o'clock, it's not 87, but I think it's 8 o'clock. Tuesday nights, we have we have the topics. And the topics usually start from 8. And so we want to welcome you to log into any of our platforms. Cesar, you and Amy, you all can be regular listeners, and be
I already subscribed.
All right, that's the spirit. And feel free to share the link, share the live, share the platform, and we welcome you. All right. So Bankie, your last words, and technician, we can take it away.
Well, just want to thank Cesar and Amy again for choosing Real Entertainment Network to disseminate the information of what with this project going on in Nevis, and the people of Hickman and Gingerland appreciate this project and be a part of it. Make sure it's a success, and protect it with all their heart, and the other community can also benefit as they've been done within using that space over the years. So it's a beautiful space. As I said, I endorse it, and definitely whatever I can be a part of to give my expertise, I'll definitely get myself involved. So guys, thanks again for choosing Real Entertainment, and also can't big up Hazel Brandy William enough for bringing you 2 guys to me so we can make this a success. So enough respect, Hazel, big up yourself. And remember, tomorrow at Mansa's Last Stop, you get your caramel and fish, you get your caramel and okra, along you get we call it chicken, different choices of meat and soul food and stuff like that. A nice place to chill. The farm is there. You get your plantain, your bananas, you get your cucumbers, tomatoes, whatever you want, cassava. Just come out, check out Mansa's Last Stop for the best soul food, oxtail and caramel and fish, chicken and caramel, rice and oxtail, whatever you want. You just come out and check out Mansa's Last Stop. Tomorrow, we'll get the best soul food. Food ready by 12 o'clock, so put in your orders and food done quick, eh? All right, definitely. So guys, thanks again for being here and choosing Real Entertainment. Enough respect, Amy, Cesar, big up yourself. A lot of information was disseminated, so the people of Nevis are very happy, and thanks for choosing us.
Yes, and as we're wrapping
Thank
up,
you.
I also wanna tell you all officially that we welcome you all to Nevis, and we hope you had a wonderful time at the Agro Fest. And for the rest of the days or whatever time you have here, that you guys have a wonderful time. All right. As we close, turn the other way, Bankie. I see Bankie is showing the wine. Sorry, honey.
Oliver's
And
honey.
big up Oliver's
You know
business.
what I mean?
1-869-668-3734. So if you need, local honey, yes, that's one you need to check out. All right. Give thanks,
Beautiful. Big up yourself, Oliver.
Oliver. Enough respect. Thank you in advance, because I haven't gotten it yet, but give thanks that you looked out for us and you're making sure that we get some local honey. All right. So people, Amy, Cesar, continue to full joy the rest of your time on the island. Real Entertainment Network, give thanks everybody who's logged on. Be sure to click on the notification bell before you leave, and subscribe, like, and share this program. Real Entertainment Network, Bankie, yes, good night.
Good night.
At Shabazz Organics, we believe real people deserve real food. So we're bringing you to Mansa's Last Stop, a farm where food barriers are removed and legacy is sustained. We believe there's power in picking, so we allow you to decide what leaves the farm and enters your kitchen organically.
beat the summer heat, come and get your carambola, star fruit, make very nice drink. Come pick them yourself. All the trees them full of vitamin C, antioxidant, build up your immune system. Mine's the last stop. A whole shopping bag only $10. Half a shopping bag you pay $5. If you get $2, you must get some. Come get your carambola. Don't want to go to wait. Let's go, people.
When comfort, class, and reliability matter, choose the ride that delivers more. Imperial Rides Transportation Services, where every journey is treated like royalty. From airport transfers, private events, shopping trips, island tours, and executive travel, Imperial Rides moves you in style, clean, comfortable, on time, every time. Book your premium taxi or tour service today. Call or WhatsApp 869-665-8459 or email elandflavas@gmail.com. Imperial Rides Transportation Services. Your journey, our priority.
Agriculture.